Welcome back. As the year winds down, we are taking a broader look at the overall market performance. We've talked a lot about the ups and downs on Wall Street, and tonight we've got a special guest to talk about just that. Laina Mills is the Senior Vice President and Chief Investment Officer with Legacy Trust here in Grand Rapids, and often called upon, I bet, to be a crystal ball for your clients.
I do my best. It's quite a challenge in this environment.
All right. Let's talk about the environment. We've been talking a lot over the last few days about what's gone on in the stock market, but let's take an overall look. First of all, how was 2018 for your investors?
It's been a challenging year. Through today, we've had a couple good days here. Yesterday we had a significant rally, and today, even though we started negative, we ended up closing out positive for the day. But we are still negative about 7% year to date for the S&P 500 for U.S. equities. And there really weren't a lot of places to hide. Small caps were negative for the year. International stocks even lagged further. So it's been a challenging year.
What of the headlines we've heard have been the biggest concern for your clients?
There's quite a few things. I think the overall theme is just the level of uncertainty right now about where things are going. There's a number of questions about policy in Washington and how that might affect the market. The government shutdown was a new factor to take into account this week, but ongoing concerns about trade and what the overall impact of tariffs might be has been a real area of concern for this year.
And the trajectory for most of the year, you said things are ending down, but the trajectory for most of the year was good.
That's been what's been so frustrating, I think, as an investor, is that when we look through the day-to-day market activity, the underlying fundamentals remain quite positive. Company earnings have been strong. The underlying economy is very healthy. The overall employment situation still looks pretty good. So when we look at that and we look out into 2019, we're just not seeing signs that this is really the sign of a turn yet. We'll have to watch closely.
Let's talk about the impacts of some of the government decisions, the tariffs. Have those things played a big role in what we're seeing?
Yeah, I think there's no question. Like I said, it's really as much about the uncertainty of how things are going to shake out. At this point, that has a real impact on sentiment and on business activity. It's slowing decisions to hire and decisions to invest, and that does have a real impact directly on the market. And
I'm going to ask you the question that I bet all of your clients ask you. Is this, is this a sign that the so-called bubble is popping?
I really don't think so. In fact, we actually don't see signs of a bubble at all, to be honest. The S&P 500 right now, that's really our preferred measure for the U.S. stock market, it's trading at about 14 times earnings, which is quite reasonable. So it doesn't look to us like an asset bubble the same way it looked maybe in the dot-com years, for example.
You're optimistic.
I'm feeling still pretty good.
All right. Laina Mills with Legacy Trust, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks very much.
All right.